Today I wanted to have a more detailed look at the Israeli gas masks. So I'm only talking about the two quite famous ones, the Shalon 4A1 and the Shalon M15. Now these are sort of two masks that are based on Draeger masks. The 4A1 is almost directly based on the Draeger mask as far as I can tell. I think it's called something like the Draeger Simplex or something like that. Again, I don't have one in my collection. I don't think they're all that common, but basically, as far as I understand, Israeli either bought them or bought a license to make them, and then they were made by Shalon in various versions, the 4A1 being more advanced than the Draeger version, because it obviously was the design they adapted and continued over time. The M15 is again based on the Draeger mask, the M65, but vastly improved, much better rubber, makes a far better face seal. It's got a voice diaphragm on it as well as the exhale valve at the bottom, not just, you know, one or the other. Triangular lenses, good sideways and upwards field of view, not very good downwards field of view, but we'll get onto that. But I think the interesting thing to bring up with Israeli gas masks is they're designed to actually be used. Now, obviously, a bit of a history lesson for everybody, if you don't know this. The only actual major conflict in which gas was used was World War One. After World War One, gas was only partially used by many countries. So you either have conflicts where gas wasn't used, where it's expected to be used, or where basically it might have been used in one or two battles, but not, you know, primarily, apart from the Iran-Iraq war really, it wasn't used by many nations. So what you have though is Israel is surrounded by hostile countries, and Israel has had many conventional wars with its neighbours where they've been defending themselves from Arab aggression basically. So what you end up having is Israel's actually very worried about both terrorism and the threat of chemical weapons being used against them. Saddam did launch Scuds against Israel during one of the Gulf Wars, Desert Storms, but they didn't actually have live warheads on, all they were duds or whatever. But obviously Israel has the very high threat of actually being attacked with chemical weapons. So therefore the Israelis are one of the only nations at the moment who have gas masks that are actually, you know, optimised to be used as real gas masks. The issue you have with a lot of nations now is they sort of buy gas masks because they have to have them. So that means they either buy really old surplus masks, or they end up basically spending way too much money and buying something that's really complex and, you know, intricate when they don't need something like that. Israel's taken the approach of they've just perfected kind of good designs, and they've got these simple but effective masks. So the 4A1, yeah, I've talked about this a lot before, but let's talk about it again. Under this plastic cover, if I can get it to pop off, we have the exhale valve there, and you have a bit of a voice diaphragm here. You're not going to be able to see it all that well on the camera, but it's just up there, and the exhale valve is here, and your intake is there. So that's just hidden under that simple plastic cover. I'll pop that back on. You've got a drinking tube insert there, you've got two round eyepieces, and inside the mask you have got an inner mask to prevent fogging. So all in all, it is a good mask, you know. There's not much to say about it other than it's good, it works, it's simple. One of the things I love about the adult one of this is it's a one-size-fits-all head strap, so you simply fully loosen the straps, put the mask into your face, tighten the straps, and you should get a good seal regardless of it being, you know, one-size-fits-all. Sacrifice for that is it can be a bit uncomfortable if you've not got the ideal head shape for it, but it doesn't really matter, you know, it's there to save your life, not be entirely comfortable. But for what it is, it's very good. So I'll just demonstrate, you know, the actual mask. I've done it enough times before. But put the mask on so your face sits comfortably in it. Then once you've got a comfortable face connection, you do up the straps. Very easy straps to do up and undo. They're the rubber type. Fabric one would be more comfortable, but these ones are actually functional. So you tighten all the straps. The top strap you can't adjust easily with the mask on, but I've got it to about the right adjustment, and therefore airtight seal. Now the great thing about Israeli masks is they're made to be compatible with both GOST and NATO STANAG filters, and the reason for that is I think Israel's a bit worried that if one of the major powers doesn't supply them, they've got a big issue. So they basically made their masks to take whatever filters they could find. So with the 4A1, the filter fits kind of in a weird place. It's sort of like where your mouth would be.
and not like below like some masks are, but here. It means you can look down without bumping the filter into yourself. You have to look down quite far before the filter blocks the mask, but you know, you get a fairly good field of view for what the mask is. It's comfortable, it's designed to fit, you know, any head shape, as a civilian mask should. So rather than making several different sizes for adults and then getting you to have your head size, they just supply you with a one-size-fits-all mask. Which is, you know, really good and practical. So, let's get that off.
So as I said, really good mask. The 4A1 for a civilian mask is great. I've recommended it numerous times on my channel simply because you can often get these cheap in any Western countries, and they are a great mask if you want a gas mask for the sake of having a gas mask. You know, they're practical and work. So with the M15, the exhale valve's actually here, the voice diaphragm's here, bigger voice diaphragm in a separate place from the civilian mask. So if I just put the filter on. So as I was saying, I don't know if the M15 comes in different sizes or not, like the civilian one does, or if it's just, you know, again, a one-size-fits-all mask. So let me try and get that on without tangling the straps. I'll just loosen it first. Yeah, that should do. So let's get the straps into the right positions before I tighten it. Okay, there we go. So just tighten it evenly as I go. Right, so that's a pretty good seal. Could maybe be made a little bit tighter, but there we go. So the M15 is basically the military mask that they've had for ages, and it works. As I was saying, it's basically an improved Draeger M65. You get very good field of view up and to the sides, but not down below, which is my only complaint. Because when you look down, the filter blocks your view when you get to about this position, which isn't that far down to look, unless you lean over to look down. So this causes a problem mainly if you're putting on an NBC suit. Because if you're trying to, you know, check you've done the arms up properly and you're looking down, it's quite hard to do. But the as I said, the M15 is a very, very good mask. It's basically a tried and tested design, the M65, that's been improved upon until the point of perfection. You know, maybe if they gave it a more comfortable head strap harness, it might be a bit better, but it's, you know, minor things by this point. You get a good field of view, fairly good apart from looking down, as I said. You've got your good voice diaphragm. Both of these masks are very good at not fogging up, even with anti-fouling paste not inside the mask. The warm air when you exhale is you know, directed downwards because the exhale port is here. So you get a very good mask in terms of, you know, fairly comfortable for what it is, and fairly practical, well, very practical. On all these masks it's got really nice good rubber, you know, it's not cheaper rubber or anything like that. Even on the civilian one it's good rubber. So what can we summarise from this? Well, because Israel is you know, under threat of actually needing gas masks or respirators, their masks are made really well. They're practical and they do what they're meant to do. Now, as I say, the issue of lots of countries is because it's more of a theoretical thing, they either don't get very good masks or they overdo it and get masks that end up, you know, not being good in the sense that they're too overcomplicated and, you know, over-engineered, I think is probably the best word for it. Like the, that's what I'm saying, that's the reason I don't like the Scott GSR, it's over-engineered. Britain went from the S10, which was simple but effective, to a mask that weighs a lot more, has more bells and whistles, but at the end of the day, in terms of protecting you from gas, it wouldn't be any better. But in terms of, you know, actual comfort and everything, it goes down because they've added too much crap onto the mask. But there you go, there's the Israeli civilian and military mask. I think this might be being phased out, or at least made in less numbers now, because what they seem to be doing now is making these kind of hoods with a blower unit, where you tape the hood up, or you like tighten a drawstring around your neck, and then you've got this kind of hood which has a blower blowing air in, so it makes a positive pressure thing which gives you very good protection. You can wear glasses under it. They sometimes turn up on eBay. If I see one with all the equipment in it for a reasonable price, at some point I'll get one. At the moment, not really, because I can't afford to splash out £50+, you know, on a mask just to do 1 or 2 videos with it. But as I said, what this is perfect, and this is very good. Do they plan on replacing the M15? I don't know. But they've been making a lot of these for like 30+ years, and obviously the newer ones you get are better, but all of them are good. But yeah, that's to sum up the video. The Israeli masks are really, really good. If you're thinking about getting masks, you know, for yourself or your family, the Israeli masks are good. If you get them decent surplus place, you should be paying £30 or dollars for these, not really any more. I've seen, you know, some surplus places trying to sell these for like £100, $100, maybe even plus. There's that Michael Shannon film, Take Shelter, where he ends up like wasting, I think, like $600 for 2 or 3 of these. But yeah, you shouldn't be paying that for them. But regardless, the Israeli masks are really good. I can't stress that enough, because they are designed with chemical warfare actually in mind. Something simple but effective, you know. So there you have it. The Israeli masks, definitely worth a buy if you spot them somewhere for sale and want a gas mask.